Hello, welcome everyone to our next session with Bhav Dayal and our new speakers. We welcome all our esteemed guests. We will just do a prayer and then we will invite Bhav Dayal. Om Sahana Vavatu Sahanao Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Warm welcome again to everyone. So, first, I would like to introduce our esteemed guest today. We have Dr. Pankaj Verma, who is a senior consultant internal medicine at a super specialty hospital by the name of Narayana at Gurugram. He's done his MBBS from AIMS and his MD medicine from Chandigarh. He's also done a master's in psychotherapy and counseling, a fellowship in diabetes from the UK, a postgrad certification in rheumatology from the US, and he's a body talk practitioner as well as an integrative medicine expert. That is Dr. Pankaj Verma for you, who holds many hats. We're very excited to listen to him today. We also have today another speaker, Dr. Goyal, who is he's a dermatologist and a dermatoendocrinologist. He's also an integrative medical practitioner and a certified body talk practitioner. He's also done his MBBS from AIMS. Maybe they know each other already. We'll find out. An MD in dermatology from AIMS, and his degree in dermatoendocrinology is from Germany, and his certification in integrative medicine is from South Africa. So we're very, very excited to listen to both our speakers today. I would like to welcome our organizer of the show, Bhav Dayal Harjani, to please come and welcome the esteemed guests. Hari Om Bhav.
Hari Om.
Hari Om.
Lovely
Lovely
introduction.
introduction.
Very
And,
nice to meet you.
Can we
Can we
ask
ask
bring all
all
the
the
guest speakers on the screen, including Sadhna ji? Sadhna ji, Dr. Pankaj Verma, Dr. Mankul Goel and सुरेश दागुर, आप सभी का दिल से स्वागतम. हरि ओम.
Thank you.
I would like to start off the show with our traditional doha, which is quite attuned with our talk today. Sahib says, "Chinta aisi धाकनी, काटी कलेजा खाए, वैद बेचारा क्या करे, कहाँ तक दवा लगाए." Now, this is very apparent, and the English translation from my book is, "Worries reckon to a devouring witch, raw heart it slowly eats. What can the helpless doctor do when his medicines fail to treat?" So Sahib contends here that worries are the most damaging aspect of a person's personality and in one's life. So one should guard oneself from chinta, as one would protect oneself against a real witch or something of that sort. So the moral of the story is the चिंता नर्क का मार्ग है और चिंतन स्वर्ग का मार्ग. चिंतन करे और चिंता कभी नहीं करे. This is our practice. So with that introduction of Sahib ji, I will now request Dr. Mankul Goel to come on the screen and introduce and give us a power presentation of what really Body Talk is all about. And then we have prepared a barrage of questions for the rest of the guest speakers, which we will continue after the PowerPoint presentation. So, Dr. Mankul Goel, can you oblige us?
Thank you, Bhavdayal, and thank you, Urvashiji. I hope everybody can hear me clearly.
I will tell Pradeep uh, to get you solely on the screen. Pradeep, yeah, go ahead.
Um, can you see my presentation?
Not yet. Now, yes.
Now you can? Okay.
Yeah.
So, thank you, Urvashiji, for starting with the Sahnav of two. And that's how the presentation starts for me
That's
as
for
well.
me as well.
Wonderful coincidence.
Yeah, so that's what I was smiling about. Whether it's Hong Kong or India, we all start with Sahnav of two. So, thank you to Bhavdayal and Urvashi and thank you to all the listeners who have joined in today from wherever across the world. Thank you for your time and a heartfelt gratitude to all of you. So, today we're going to talk about a topic which is very close to the heart of two of us doctors, me and Dr. Pankaj, which is about body talk. It's a word talking to the body, which um, is something we would wonder what does it mean. Is it a healing system? Is it another medical new software based, some intellectual new gimmick from allopathy? Is it a something like Reiki, pranic healing? Is it some form of new meditation? What is body talk? Is the question we'll try and answer in the first 10 minutes. And I'll start with my own story. How did I hear about body talk? I was in South Africa. Urvashiji mentioned that I did a course in integrative medicine there. And one of the fellow doctors with me was going on talking about body talk. Body talk is this, body talk is that. And we were sitting in together and having some meal. And I was wondering why this lady is so obsessed with body talk. So I finally said, why don't you do a session for me of body talk? So fortunately, I could get a session, and she made me lie down, and she held my hand and just kept shaking my hand, kept checking my hand with something, and after that she said that did something happen 2 years back, so and this and this happened in your life, which evoked so and so emotion in you. I said yes. I could immediately recall an incident related to that, and that emotion immediately resonated in me. And I could see that emotion come up, bubbling up in my own system. And then she did some tapping on me, and it was an experience of something being let go on, and a freedom from something which I had been carrying, which I was not even aware of. So it was a beautiful experience back in 2017, 2018, which then and created an aspiration in me to understand what is that system. Somebody holds my hand and is able to talk about something that happened in my life and some emotion, and how that emotion is sitting at a particular place, and just taps somewhere, and I feel free from that emotion. I feel lighter. How can a system do that? And she introduced me to that in your own country there is one body talk practitioner, Suresh Dagur. At that time we only had one practitioner of body talk. Now we have 20 plus practitioners in India in 2023, but at that time we just had one. And from there the journey of exploration of body talk started for me. And to explain what body talk really means, we need to set a paradigm of how we look at ourselves. Do we look at ourselves like a physical body, or nowadays it's quite in trend to say, oh, I'm not body, I'm an energy. So am I an energy, or am I mind over matter, or maybe I'm something more than that? And how the Indian Vedas and the Indian spiritual researchers over the past 10,000 years have looked at it through the concept of kosha, is that the human system can be seen with 5 layers. The first layer is Annamaya Kosha, which is made of anna or food, which is the physical body. Then there we don't have any disputes whether it's medical science or spirituality, because it's physical body. We all understand it. We can all see it. Then there is the Pranamaya Kosha. Pranamaya Kosha is a kind of an energy body in us. Prana or chi are common words in India and Asia, and but this is also a field which has been to a degree scientifically validated indirectly through acupuncture. On acupuncture, there is more than 1 million papers on PubMed, our standard scientific journals, and acupuncture is largely based on the prana and prana or chi based energy channels. So we do have an energy body in us which has a huge influence on us, and this energy body has an influence. It is that energy which moves all around in all of us. If you are feeling hungry, then that is that energy which creates those gurgling sounds in the stomach. It is that gush of energy which we feel in excitement. So it is that pranic energy. And then there is the Manomaya Kosha, which is a field of mind. And the mind is the thoughts, the emotions, and belief systems, and intellect also in a way is a part of Manomaya Kosha. Intellect, which means to be able to discern and discriminate between things. And then beyond that, there is the Vijnanamaya Kosha, which is the supramental part of us. In the first 3 bodies, we all have a separative experience, that I have my own body, my own prana, and my own mind. And the other person has their own body, mind, and prana. Whereas at the level of Vijnanamaya Kosha or supramental, there is a sense of oneness. We are all one there, and there is a sense of all knowing. Everything is known, and one doesn't have to seek out knowledge outside through the senses. One of the common ways we can relate to the Vijnanamaya Kosha in our daily life is intuition. We all have some degree of intuition about different things. We all wake up in the morning from a sleep, and some question that we had in our mind, a sense of answer comes in. Or in moments, very key moments in life, we all have that intuition that this is what I need to do. So that intuition is what drops into the Manomaya Kosha from the Vijnanamaya Kosha. And some of the great saints all across the world, gifted people, have had a greater access to this Vijnanamaya Kosha. And the fact is that we all have it, and we all have the capacity to access it. It's just about putting our hearts into it. And the last is Anandamaya Kosha, or the bliss body, which is that bliss which is different from the pleasure and pain of life. That bliss which just fills the heart with that immense joy, and which one can experience both in pleasure and pain. A simple way we can relate to this bliss body is the happiness that we feel when we help someone out of no personal gain. It is in those moments we can experience subtle forms of this bliss, but it is much more than this. It has the capacity to heal an individual beyond bounds. So by starting with this paradigm of the 5 bodies, and an understanding that a health is about being balanced and in harmony at all 5 levels, or a better word would be in coherence at all 5 levels, is what health is about, and what Body Talk aspires for, that people develop a coherence at all these 5 levels. Because disease is not just at Annamaya Kosha, it can be at Prana, it can be at Manomaya Kosha, or beyond. So just like we got a sneak peek into what that lady did to me, she held my hand, and started looking for some answers. So the next question in front of us is, where do answers come from in body talk? From where, what field did she access in order to get answers about what's happening at that moment inside me? And in body talk, we refer to it as innate wisdom. It is that inborn tendency for self regulation, self healing within body mind. So it is that space, it is that inner intelligence present in all of us, which knows what needs to be done in the next moment. A simple example is, if I get a little trauma on my skin and I have a wound, the a scientist will tell you the number of billion coincidences which need to happen in order for that wound to heal. So many different things have to come together for a wound to heal, and it cannot be a work of some random chance. So there is a definite inner intelligence which is at work when it comes to any process that is happening in human system in maintaining our balance and homeostasis. It's not just for wound healing, but also for emotional healing. So that innate wisdom is from where we seek the answers, and that innate wisdom is present in the depths of our hearts. So that is where we focus ourselves. We'll understand more what that depth of hearts means, but the point is that at least our intention is set to seek an answer from that innate wisdom, that space. We are not trying to intellectually solve a problem. And that's the beauty of body talk, because we doctors get tired of using our intellect. And while we do a body talk session, we have an opportunity to get connected to that innate wisdom. And then what we need at that moment to access that innate wisdom is structured intuition. Structured intuition is a state of flow where the left and right brain are working in synchrony. Our left brain is the logical brain, the right brain is a more visuospatial, which kind of processes colors, 3D images, visualizations. And when both of them come together in synchrony, the person enters a state of zone, which many people have described, from sports persons to scientists, as a state where they accomplish things which seem beyond human capacity. So it is this structured intuition. For that, we enter a space of left and right brain resonance. Any little meditation, any breath-based technique which puts a person into a rhythmic breath helps a person get into more structured intuition space. We'll talk more about it as we go on. And in our left brain, we mug up this chart, which includes organs, endocrines, body parts, energies, chakras, meridians, environmental factors, foods, microbes, toxins, belief systems, genes, lymphatics, nerve supply, and various other things. So we kind of mug up this chart into our left brain, and in a state of this right and left brain resonance, we allow in the right brain an intuition to drop in from the Vijnanamaya Kosha. And we are seeking answers from the innate wisdom. And initially, as a naive initial body talker, we get answers in terms of yes and no. But gradually, the intuitions start to flow about what's the priority for that individual right now. And to give you an example, like we go about asking, is organs a priority? No. Is endocrines a priority? No. Is body parts a priority? Yes. Furthermore, specific on body part, brain is a priority, limbic system is a priority. Yes. And then something oriented to it, and life event will open up in so and so year, or so and so person will open up, so and so emotion will come out. And then how it is defined in the individual comes up. So a story emerges out of this whole process, which 9 out of 10 times is relevant to that person's life situation. And for us, it may be a random story, but for that person, it has a very significant, deep meaning. Just to give you, an example to understand, for the first body talk session I did for a patient of psoriasis, it's a skin condition. I'd been seeing him for a long time, and body talk opened up 7 to 8 years of age. He was currently 45, and fear of punishment at the age of 8 years came up. And he said, I asked him, did something happen at 8 years of age? And he said that my I did a mistake and my father beat me up so badly that my uncle had to take me away from the house. So it was a major event which was still stuck in the subconscious of the person. Until date, the person carries that fear of punishment. I could see always in every consult, he would go like, can I eat this? I hope I will not get into trouble. Can I eat that? I hope there will be no issue. So he always had that fear of punishment within him for making a mistake. So these kinds of things come out, and then what we do next is to tap these things out. And when we tapping is a process, we'll get more into it. um, when we tap, the intention is to restore communication, synchronization, and balance. Now, normally, our intellectual attitude would be that, okay, we have identified a problem, now let's solve it. So the intellect wants to take over. Okay, I found the problem, now I'll solve the problem. But body talk, the director in the body talk is not the mind, it's the innate wisdom. So everything eventually is connected back to the innate wisdom with faith in it, that it has the capacity to transform whatever is there in the here and now as an issue. It has the capacity to address, not solve. So it's like a dark room, you shed light, and that's all you need to do in order to transform it. So in tapping, we tap in by creating a vibration in the three major magnetic fields in a human being: the head nervous system, the heart nervous system, and the belly nervous system. We create a possibility of restoring communication, synchronization, and balance between whatever are the issues and the innate wisdom of that individual. It's like saying, may the divine take over and transform this, whatever needs to be done, but by taking a position. So here is a little paper on tapping, just to, because some people, our left brain does need that, logic. How does tapping work? What happens? We can't say how it works, but we can say it works. So there are some studies showing that tapping has a effect on the nervous system, and emotions released with tapping release much faster than months and months of psychotherapy. And then the next question is, what kind of results that we see? We see patients shifting, patients feeling lighter, patients feeling breathing better, sleeping better, and they become more aware of themselves. They That leads to behavioral changes, and a lot of other things happen. And we will talk more in detail, but the idea of this little presentation was to run through a broad overview about body talk. And I'm sure this has evoked a lot of questions in Dayalji and Urvashiji and Sadhnaji and all the guests, and we would love to answer those questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Doctor. This was really a very enlightening piece of information. I think it's phenomenal. I would say this is a triple P, powerful power presentation. It was very comprehensive, and I think most of us could easily digest or assimilate whatever you were talking about. And really, my hats off to you and your explanation. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
So I'll start with my first question addressed to Dr. Pankaj.
Hello.
डॉक्टर पंकज जी थोड़ा हिंदी में भी थोड़ा एक्सप्लेन करें in a simple way in English or whatever. Like what is this
Okay.
in simple terms? What is how do you look at body talk?
So basically, as the word say, body talk. So we are talking with the body directly. Sometimes
Hmm.
when we see the patient, as we all say, most of the diseases are psychosomatic. They arise in the mind and they express in the body in various form. But
Hmm.
when patient or client come to you, he may or she may be having a different version of their story because they are speaking from their mind, though they may not be telling you the right or the actual truth behind it. So the only way to access it is basically by tapping into the body, by going into the zone, as Mankul has said rightly. So we are just trying to access the truth inside the body. Say in the body the issues in your tissues. So we
Hmm.
are trying to identify it
Good one.
and then find the body priority. Like the sometime patient comes, ke, I'm having a headache, or I'm having a severe abdominal pain or knee pain, but it may arise from physical body, it may arise from vital body, it may arise from mental body, it may arise from different layers of body, but patient or client don't know about it. So once we are going into the zone, we are doing the session, we are trying to find out the actual cause behind it, and that's how we access the body priority. What is body priority? When, as Mankul said, when we are doing the session, any priority may come up, like maybe patient suffering from any organ issue, any mind issue, any issue in their chakras, any issue in their energy, any event in their life which is having impacted the body enough to store for them in the inside the body for centuries. So as the Mankul said in the example, that 35-year male having the impact having since the age of 8 years, he is storing that mindset, that belief of fear of punishment since the age of 8 years. So, as we see in our general terms, like your body has memory of everything, your genes, your DNA, in even your ancestors also. We say in the body talk, like simple, okay, you have your nose of your grandfather, you have eyes of your mother. So, what is this the same thing coming from? So, this is transforming into the body and running into the DNA from ancestors from centuries. So once you are doing the body talk, you can access any kind of issue by going into the zone and just find the body priority and then tapping it. What is the meaning of body priority? We are just coming in the in front of the body. Yes, because body don't know their priority. That's why we are trying to help it in come up in this way. Once we are connected with the client during the session, we are just one with the patient in the supramental body. So that's why when we are tapping into the like shaking or finding the answer from the hand, we are not different from the client. And that's why we are able to find out the priority by using structured intuition. And then once priority come out of it, we are using body innate wisdom to heal itself, because consciousness is everywhere, it prevails everywhere, and consciousness is the ultimate driving force which heals everything or anything. So we access consciousness, we access innate wisdom, and then we try to tap out our system. We will discuss in detail what's the tapping basic uses in the later questions. But yeah, in simple word, body talk is talking with the body and find out the right actual truth with the patient, so that the patient heal in the right way, and whatever the body want in that modifiable way, we try to help the uh, patient or the client. We are not the doer here. First of all, we are not doing the healing, we are just trying, we are just giving that priority to the body. Okay, yes, this client, this body needs attention to this part of the issue. Maybe he need attention to that memory, maybe that need attention to that organ, and then body heals itself by doing tapping. It's not an immediate process. Patient, the more deeper the issue is, the more healing sessions is required. So it's not a one day process, but once you introduce that shift inside the body can heal itself gradually over the period.
Okay, good. So now my next will be to Dr. Mankul. Dr. Mankul ji, how do you apply this in general practice?
Thank you. Dr. Pankaj, can you mute yourself? I think we are echoing if two people are unmuted.
Yeah.
So, just to extend what Dr. Pankaj said about priority, one thing is that all of us in life are too focused on what is urgent. Many people here must be doing businesses, and that very famous quadrant from Stephen R. Covey's 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, important and urgent. How life we are focused on what is urgent right now, and patients come to us with urgent, this is my issue, please resolve this. So we're focusing on urgent, we are not focusing on what is important in the here and now for us. So priority is about acknowledging what is important in the present moment, and what is first and foremost in what is important is the priority. It comes from a very deep space. Unlike urgency, we keep creating 10 different urgent things for ourselves. Now, coming to how we use it in our practice, see, I value this in my practice most because from the time I started practicing it, I realized that I can have, and let me tell you, both me and Dr. Pankaj, we take pride in spending a lot of time with our patients. We spend good 45 minutes with each patient. So as a doctor, we always had this urge to know what's going on inside this person, what ails this person. And despite these intellectual conversations you would have on and on with the patient, they are not very interested in telling you what is going deep inside them. So what I realized was that in body talk sessions, the story that would emerge would be completely different than what actually ails the individual. To give you an example of, yesterday I did a body talk session for a girl. She's been coming for acne to me for now 6 months, or maybe 1 year. And I've been seeing her, and she's had emotional issues, she has had hormonal issues, and she's told me how she's stressed, but we've never really talked about what the stress was. And I did one body talk session for her 3 weeks back, where the issue of she's very petite, and she's always felt like a very fragile person. And what came up in body talk was that she needs to come out of this hesitant space of not trusting people into being like a tree of kindness, embracing relationships. She was like a person who would be the one person standing in the corner in a party, and what she needed to be to grow stronger and embrace people, kindness. So something like that came up as a priority. But what came out this time as a priority for her was, abuse, her belief systems about her sexuality. She was in a married life and she was divorced. I knew that. But what came up was that, and she felt, oh, I'm now happily into a new relationship. But her belief systems around her sexuality, how she was abused, how she was disrespected, and how she was overpowered in that relationship. And this came up as a priority. And her words was, Doc, I've been in therapy for 2 years. I've not even shared this with my therapist. And it is absolutely true. So body talk gets straight to the point. As a doctor, I cannot spend hours doing therapy for patients, but it takes us straight to the point where the patient also, in fact, when I even told her that the first thing that is coming up is a belief system of the pelvis, I feel low about my sexuality. She said, why would you say that? I have no issues with my sexuality. I'm perfectly fine. But when the orientation started opening up, started saying, yes, this did happen. Yes, did this happen? I felt suffocated. I victim. So it all opened up. So as a doctor, for me, it adds value where patients are coming with chronic issues and we know the mind is involved. And I, as a doctor, don't have the capacity to go and do therapy sessions for months and years. In 1 or 2 sessions, we get straight to the point. So that is where, for me, it adds value in my medical practice.
This is like a laser
Yeah.
treatment. Hit to the
Yeah.
point, straight to
Yeah.
the direct.
Exactly.
So now my
Absolutely.
third
Similarly,
question would be to both of you, Dr. Pankaj and Dr. What kind of outcomes or help to patients and doctors get out of body talk? Like, what is the? I mean, I got a gist of it from your talk earlier, but is there anything else that the viewers should know about, Dr. Pankaj?
so
हो
there are
सकते हैं
two
इसके ऊपर?
different things you are asking about. One thing is the patient outcome. One thing is the how do you feel about it. So I would like to answer the first question, like regarding the patient response. Since I'm working as a psychotherapist, also I do counseling sessions for my patients, for my clients, and as I said, the first session of every counseling is all about catharsis, where the client or the patient always speak everything about him or her to explain what's the issue. That's why he or she has come to me for counseling. In the next session, usually what I do body talk session, and what I come up with the second session was totally different what patient has said in the first session. So that's why the talking from the mental point of view is very very different from them talking from the body point of view. And the body won't lie, your mind may lie, you can lie to yourself also, you can lie to doctor also, but your body won't lie. If you are following in, if you are doing that into the zone, if you are trusting, and the client and practitioner both having the faith in each other, then only they can go sync as one and find out the actual issue. So once you do this session, the outcome can be very very different. I can go into the like long term outcome. Somebody coming out to me not having marriage, not able to marry for he's a 30-year male, not able to marry for last 5 years despite having a relationship, and then I did 2 or 3 sessions, and after 1 year he got married. So this is how a long-term outcome may impact by the body talk. If you ask for immediate outcome, you can immediately see the shift in the change in the energy of the patient. You will feel their eyes got more widened, their breath become much more calmer. Some patients start to cry immediately, and they cry non-stop. Similarly, when we do top tapping, some patients who are having so much chaos in their mind, they freeze while doing body talk. Then you have to get out of it for at least 5 to 10 minutes, 15 minutes. They may take one of my patient has taken 30 minutes to come out of that frozen state. That depends how much chaos the mind is collecting inside. So regarding the outcome, even as like there's some is having the very very good outcome, somebody has no outcome at all. Immediately they feel nothing, because if somebody is coming from the question and doubt mindset, somebody is coming with the left brain mindset, they want to see the change physically, they want to feel the change in materialistic way. So they may not have any kind of relief or sense of shift after having the body talk session. They may come up later after 1 to 2 weeks, okay, yes, I am feeling something different in my mindset, in my positivity, in my routine, in my happiness, but immediately they may not feel any change. But the fact is, whether you feel it or not, change would be there. So outcome may vary, but yes, it depend on the client. And one more thing, and now and the coming to the other part, as you said, how you feel as a practitioner. First of all, as a having we both having allopathic mindset, we both are from aims, so we think we are very 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 good doctor. We think we are very good diagnosis. We make a very good diagnosis because we spend so much time with the patient, but that is not true. Once we start doing body talk, we realize we miss so many things. We can miss so many things. Allopathy, not even allopathy, we are practicing Ayurveda also. I'm practicing Ayurveda, homeopathy, yoga, psychotherapy, some part of energy healing. So every pathy, every therapy has limitations, even body talk also. But yes, once we grow through it, we realize that yes, we are limited as a physical body, or as a doctor having intelligence, having mental body. Despite that, every uh, change, every point of view is limited. So we become more humble. We come more in gratitude ki yes, this client or this patient is having so much surrender and trust to us, and now we are we are not responsible, but we have to feel more empathy towards the patient, and we feel more ki yes, the outcome, we may change the outcome, but we are not the doer. So that doership, that ego part dissolve gradually once you start doing body talk
Very good.
session. I think that is a
Fantastic.
very very important change that we have seen over the period.
इसके ऊपर मेरे को एक मेरा दोहा याद पड़ता है. आई ऑल्सो राइट
हाँ ठीक है,
इंसिडेंटली.
बोलो बोलो, मेरा माइक बंद है।
तो उस दोहा में है, ज्ञान नहीं है उतरा, ज्ञान नहीं है उतरा, फिर भी तोता मन जो बोले, फिर भी तोता मन जो बोले, अहंकार के नदी में डूब कर तन मन इनका डोले. तो ये स्थिति अपने, you had described something like this effect, that is the arrogance that creates a lot of problem, either in your healing practices or in the diagnosis or in the mind of the uh, what you call patient. So ठीक है, now I'll give the floor to Sadhna Mehta. Actually, she has not
Yeah,
been.
ji, I'll just sorry to
Sorry to
interrupt you. I'll
interrupt you.
just
I'll
like
just
to
yeah,
add
please.
something here. Um, as Dr. Pankaj mentioned about the outcome and various possible outcomes, one very key point is that the body talk practitioner acts out of a space of detachment from the outcome. That we are not looking for any specific outcome out of it while doing the session. It's a kind of a yoga, it's a kind of a sadhana. So we are in a space of detachment to the outcome. We do not build up expectations within ourselves, or in the practitioner of so and so outcome possible, but we do carry hope. There's a difference between hope and expectations. Expectations are outwards, कि ये मिल जाएगा, वो मिल जाएगा, whereas hope burn out upwards. So we carry a lot of hope during the session that so and so issues may be addressed for the patient, but we don't build up expectations. And generally in outcomes, what we see that by not focusing on the outcome, a lot of things fall away for the patient. A lot of disease that they've been carrying, they fall away over a period of time. And along with that, a lot of significant family issues, life issues that they've been carrying get addressed during the way, during the process.
ये
So
तो
that is
चूहा
what
ढूंढने की बात है ना. ये
sorry.
तो like looking for a rat in your mind. चूहा ढूंढने की बात हो गई ना. मन में जो चूहा घुसा है तो वो ढूंढने का है ना. आप वही ढूंढते हैं ना. I mean, in humor I'm saying. ठीक है, very good. I have a few other questions which I'll ask you later on. But first, I'll give the floor to Sadhna ji. Sadhna ji, just for everybody, she's a integrative energy medicine practitioner. She's a fitness enthusiastic, and she's very passionate about holistic approach to physical and emotional well-being. And she's a clinical hypnotherapist, and we are very honored to have her on our show. And she will ask few questions to our chief guest speakers who will answer her. Sadhna ji, Would you like to throw in a barrage of questions to these notable doctors? Because you're
Firstly,
experienced yourself and they are also experienced. So it'll be one on one for all of you.
Ji, ji. Thank you so very much, first of all. Om Shanti to everyone, and thank you, Dayalji, for making me a part of this August panel to have Dr. Pankaj, Dr. Mankur, Dr. Dagar, and University alongside. It's really an honor. Yes, I do come in from a similar space, and to see these two gentlemen who come in from allopathic world and they have been practicing integrative medicine, I believe that's what the world needs right now. So first of all, congratulations to both of you for doing such beautiful work. And as you people said, energy is everything. In East, our consciousness, we always knew about uh, the role of prana, consciousness, chi. Fortunately, West has also started realizing the importance of it and has started integrating with modern medicine. So that's a very good move. Dr. Pankaj, I would like to ask you, uh, both of you have talked about how body talk works on mental, supramental level and includes access to innate wisdom, to consciousness, uh, and also has tapping as one of the very basic tools that you use while you are trying to send healing, or when the person is trying to not send healing may not be the right word, when you are processing the energy in the body. So I wanted to understand, how is it different from, how is body talk different from something like other healing modalities like prana healing, Reiki, or EFT for that reason? How is it different from these modalities?
Dr. Pankaj or Dr. Mo?
Pankaj, Dr. Pankaj, if you could take this question. Thank you.
Yeah. First of all, thank you for joining this show, because I've seen your energy. I've done the energy sessions done by Sadhna ji, and it's so much. You can't express them. First of all, she's blending so many energy therapy in a one session. So it's like going through the ocean of energy. So, as we say, energy medicine is a very difficult, not difficult, but yet very few people understand about it. What is this energy? We go through Reiki. Somebody can go through prana energy. Somebody can go into aura cleansing. Somebody can go into spiritual healing. What's the basis of energy? They, because they are acting into the energy body. But in body talk, we are not acting only into the energy body. As we said, in the body talk, we are going one more kosha beyond. We are talking from the supramental body. And the more layer you cross, ultimately the more impact it will be having in all the layers of the body. Either it is energy body, vital body, mental body, physical body. So that's for how it is different. And in body talk, we if we are talking about one single therapy like Reiki, we access the Reiki through the superconscious, and then we try to heal and give that Reiki energy, acting as a channel. But in the body talk, we are not giving energy. We are just finding the some flaws or some priorities in the system, or then our innate wisdom will act on it. So we are of course acting as a channel, because in any kind of energy healing you have to act as a channel. But in this session you are coming with a priority. I would say it is kind of more selective. In another energy healing session, it is non selective. You're not healing a single priority of your body. You're healing the whole system as a whole. Like in the aura cleansing, you're cleansing complete aura. In the Reiki healing, you are healing the complete body or mind of the client or the patient. But in body talk, you are going one more step ahead. Like your first try to find out what is actual body priority, and then tapping on it to having the more concrete effect, I would say. So this is of course a part of energy healing, but it is going beyond energy healing, and also not only focusing on energy tapping, but it's also finding out your allopathic issues. It may also find out your Chinese meridian issue. It may also find out your ophthalmic, even your eyes issues. So it is not a pathy selective, not a way selective, but it is more wholesome, I would say. It accept every kind of pathy, it respect every kind of pathy, and just acting from the non-diagnostic, or from the zone point of view, to find out the real pathology or real priority of the patient.
Very
I
good.
think Mankul will have
Fantastic.
more some more insight into it.
So thank you, Dr. Pankaj, for explaining it. And just want to add that when we are healing or we're talking about healing, generally talk about 4 or 5 different powers that all of us have as human beings. One is the power of hand. Wherever we put a hand, we start healing that part. It's biofeedback in medical science. The power of hand. Then there is power of mind. You visualize light at any part, you start healing that part. And you use power of breath. You take a deep breath in and you bring in energies from the top and below. And then there is power of intention. Whatever intention you bring in, it starts to manifest in the life. But body talk is most focused on the power of witnessing. You take up the witness position. You're not the doer, you are not yourself this body, you're not yourself this hand which is doing the process. That person, that itself is not a body. This is happening in one consciousness and you're just witnessing it. And the witnessing is itself a beautiful power. And the beauty of witnessing is it avoids consciousness traps. It's a trap to feel that I can heal another person. So that is the beauty, and that's what I love to do about body talk, because it helps me deepen up my own sadhana in life. That you are avoiding those consciousness traps that I'm, and as Dr. Pankaj said, it just humbles you that you are not the doer. So this power of witnessing is what stands out with body talk, and it's something we have very little faith in our life. विटनेस करने से क्या होगा? जब तक कुछ करेंगे नहीं तब तक क्या होगा? हमें दवाई पे फेथ होता है, हमें हीलर के हाथ पे फेथ होता है, हमें हर चीज पे फेथ होता है, बट विटनेस करने में कि बाय नॉट इंटरफेयरिंग विद थिंग्स द वे दे आर, हाउ कैन वी हील? But that is the nature of Purusha and Prakriti. If we just don't interfere and allow things to run through their course and just witness, it has a huge healing capacity. So that's the added point about what makes body talk different.
Thank you
ये तो
so very much.
मेडिटेशन हो गई ना, ये तो मेडिटेशन की बात हो गई ना साधना जी.
जी, ये क्या है कि आप साक्षी भाव में जा रहे हैं और
हाँ,
कर्ता भाव
एग्जैक्टली,
ड्रॉप कर रहे हैं. So that's so
एग्जैक्टली.
beautiful. It takes us to Vedanta, and how Vedanta is being integrated to what medicine is doing right now. That's so beautiful. And you rightly said, even if you go to quantum, they say awareness heals. 80% healing happens with awareness. The moment you put your awareness to something, the healing begins. So very beautiful. Thank you so much. Dr. Mankul, I would like to ask you, you said that uh, as a part of the process in body talk, the practitioner trusts his own internal intuition function to gather information through yes and no's. Uh, you just gave some examples to us wherein you went very deep into what showed up for your patients. Uh, it's very, how do you trust that intuition that shows up? How do you trust your own yes or no's? Because you are going to tell a story to someone which may not be very pleasant, which may look like a dark place to someone, which may look like a childhood trauma to someone. And another thing I would like to ask you, have you ever shied away from sharing something that showed up?
Thank you, Sadhna ji, for this beautiful question. And as a medical doctor, I had a really difficult time initially in the first year of Body Talk. In fact, Dr. Pankaj, we did the course of Body Talk together, and he literally flowed with the sessions. And for me, it was very hard to trust my intuition. And I constantly had this thought: am I just fooling myself? Am I fooling the patient? With what is coming up? And it was a long struggle for me. Sometimes I used to sweat during a session, and get anxious myself, that am I really, is this making sense? And during the first year of practicing Body Talk, so it is difficult initially to trust. And what used to help initially to me is to offer trust. What my teachers told me, Sureshji and everybody told me, is to offer trust. Trust is meant to be broken, and not to look at what comes up as right or wrong. Rather, look at it as accurate or inaccurate. We are never right or wrong. That also is a part of our duality. We may be 100% accurate, or we may be off from the dart. So, if we have to say about our intuition, we may not say it's a right or wrong intuition. We won't like to judge it. We can evaluate it. How accurate on a scale of 0 to 10 it is, that's something we can do with the intuition. Otherwise, by the moment judgment comes in, you block yourself from that higher space. So, offering trust, and then eventually what was very helpful was to do the session for the sake of the divine. When you're doing, as it, I'm doing it for myself and I'm doing it for my patient, then it is a space of still being the doer. But the moment you start doing it for the sake of the divine, it is much easier to let go of the doership. And in that space of non-doership, you don't care what is accurate and what's inaccurate. And naturally, those intuitions start flowing in much better, because you take up a cause much larger than yourself. You do it for the sake of divine. And lastly, the understanding, and Suresh Dagoji, our teacher, used to talk about it, is the importance of grounding, being grounded in the present moment. And gradually the realization started to come in that if we are with our breath, the breath is that space of anchoring. So if we are with our breath and we are in a state of trust and faith, naturally things start flowing, and answers that come more often than not are real and accurate. And by practice and practice and practice and practice, for 5 years, I can say now the circuit of that um, connection with that intuition has grown, that these things naturally flow much better, and there is a natural trust which has developed. And this is very important for all the viewers and for all of us, because I'm not some gifted person with some special ability. I'm a doctor. In fact, for doctors it's much harder, because you're so conditioned with your left brain. But if we just, all of us, if we just practice things, it is a capacity that all of us have. So I hope that answers your question, Sadhnaji. And I think there was a second part to the question, which was that do I hide some things? It's hesitation that comes in. And there are some times, like even for this girl, the moment she said, oh, I don't have any sexuality issues, and here there's a girl, 29-year-old girl lying in front of you, and you talk about such uncomfortable issues sitting in Delhi, it does put you in uncomfortable situations. But again, we have learned to trust and maybe very gently open up the patient or the client, prepare them. Hey, there is something very personal that is coming up, and I hope you can trust this. This is what is coming up. And sometimes just asking the patient to deep breathe helps, because they let go of their own resistance. If you mention this and ask them to deep breathe, and say, take 3 deep breaths and see what comes up for you with regards to this, more often not than not, that resistance in them breaks down. So I have had very little to hide from patients, I would say. But yeah, those uncomfortable moments come from very frequently as a body talker.
वेरी गुड।
Thank you,
साधना जी,
Mansoor. Yeah,
ये तो इसने जो बात किया साधना जी, मेरे
जी,
को लगता है इट्स ऑल अबाउट सरेंडर एंड सबमिशन टू द लॉर्ड ऑलमाइटी। ये
जी, जी.
समर्पित हो गया ना, समर्पित, अपना अहंकार ईगो समर्पित हो गया, तो ऑटोमेटिकली ऑल द थॉट्स आर गॉन, so the mind becomes very receptive in this state of attitude and mind. बरोबर?
Absolutely. There's another thing. There is a difference when we do something from place of intention and when we do something from a place of desire. When there is an intention that I'm not the doer, I'm used, I'm just a medium, and the universe is using me, and I'm surrendering to the universe. the 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 connection and the outcome does not bother you, but the moment you have desire, you come into doership. Then I believe talking about difficult things, बताऊं या नहीं बताऊं, सच है कि झूठ है, everything comes in play. So thank you, Pankaj. It really was a very, very beautiful, profound answer. And I see body talk is looking so simple, pragmatic, yet so profound. And best thing is the holistic part of it, that you've been able to integrate other pathies with it. What Dr. Pankaj explained, that we can include others. So that's why it's a pure integrative approach to how one can look at body talk. Last question from my side would be to both of you. As a healer myself, I know when we work with someone, we get entrained to the energy, to what happens with the client. At times we mirror what's happening with the client, and we have to hold that space when we're doing the session. And in quantum and metaphysics space, energies manipulated, and it is very subjective. It's a very subjective personal experience. But I would like to ask both of you, what kind of shift does the client experience or the practitioner experiences after a body talk session?
Acha, I want to interrupt. We have only 10 minutes more, and Urvashi also has to ask, so we can expedite as fast as possible. Okay, you're on. Pankaj or Mankul can answer this question.
Yeah, of course. As we had discussed previously, also, like the shift is highly variable. Energy is constant, but shift the somebody may perceive is always variable, because somebody is everybody has a different zone of energy. So everybody has different vibrational frequency. So you are doing your work as a non-doer. You are changing the energy, but how much somebody having shift inside or is different, rather than somebody how much somebody feel about it is totally different. So shift will be there, but how much somebody would able to perceive it, again is depend on one thing, first of all, on yourself, how much you are into that zone to feel that shift. And again, the trust and the faith between the client and the practitioner play a very, very big role in terms of the feeling of the shift that the client perceive or feels after the shift. But there's no doubt about it, the simple things will be felt by everyone, like lighter energy. You feel mind thoughts are much, much less. Your breathing is become more calm, more rhythmic, more deeper, that you feel. Your body tone will be more lighter. You will feel from inside, okay, yes, the kind of pain you're going through is actually not that much intensity now. Before going through the session and after going through the session, the intensity would be different. So in this way, the shift will be variable, but yes, shift will be there.
Thank you.
So I'll just quickly add to this that the concept of inner universe and outer universe, that it is equally, the session is equally important for the client as it is for the practitioner. uh, there we go into a session with the trust that this session is equally important for both of us, and what comes up is relevant to me also and to the other person as well, and we both come out of it in some way as, you can say, better human beings, or our awareness expanded in some way about our own life. So it's I look forward to a body talk session that I will also expand in awareness through that body talk session.
वेरी गुड, फैंटास्टिक। साधना जी, अब हम उर्वशी को दे दें।
जी, जी।
उर्वशी कह रही है, उर्वशी, would you like to ask some
Yes.
questions?
Yes, yes, sure. Thank you so much, Sadhna ji. And I'm sorry I missed
We
it.
have only five minutes.
Sure, sure. And Dr. Dagur, welcome to the show. I was very happy to be there with you the last time you were with us. And today I think you're here more as just overseeing what your two proteges are speaking, is it?
No. Thank you. Actually, I'm so proud of Dr. Mankul and Dr. Pankaj. What I couldn't explain to Dayalji is the last 20 years about body talk. They have explained it better than I could have.
No, that's wonderful, and it must be feeling very nice to have them both.
Absolutely, so proud. I feel so
Yeah.
proud. And I can tell you, I always knew that body talk's origin is actually in India as Advait Vedant. So now I can see the result. Our two brilliant doctors understand body talk better than the Westerners. This is a fact.
Truly, this has been a brilliant show. And I myself, I've really enjoyed myself listening to everyone. It's brilliant.
Urvashi ji, you are muted.
Yeah,
Sorry.
Urvashi, can I?
Yeah. Now I think you can hear me. I was very impressed to see also in your presentation, Dr. Mankul, that you had the symbols of Sri Aurobindo and the mother in one of your slides. So you have been influenced by them as well, especially the concept of, I think, the supramental. It'll be
Integral
interesting
yoga.
to- Integral yoga, yeah. And the supramental consciousness that he talks about. That's very interesting. So I had actually a question which you've kind of answered, which was that how many sessions would one typically need, and would one be enough? But of course, you already said that one needs many sessions, and one can understand that if one has had an issue for many years, it's obviously going to take some time for that issue to heal or be resolved. But what how do you know that, okay, these are the number of sessions the client will need? How would you gauge how to determine that?
When we do the session, we ask from the body itself. So when should we repeat the session? It is not in our hand, neither in the client or the practitioner hand, to find out how much session someone require. But when we do a session, after ending the session, after doing the tapping and healing and the shift, we finally ask from the client by the tapping itself, in the form of yes or no, whether we should repeat the session. If the answer is yes, then we ask whether we should repeat it once, after a week, after a day, after a month, after a year. So in my sessions, it may come up, repeat next session, it will be next day or next week, and in some client it may come up next year also, after 3 years also. So it's all the body choice, how frequently that someone needs healing. As we expect, if somebody having the more deeper psychogenic or rooted belief system related issues, they require more sessions to come out of those issues or belief system.
I would imagine that most of the issues would be quite complicated or severe. I mean, one doesn't just go for some quick fix. So it is quite interesting to know that the body tells you, and suppose the body tells you that come after 3 years. I mean, I'll come back after 3 years. You would probably forget by then what the issue is. I mean, that's a very long time.
But the
With the
usual
time-
is basically once it or after the month, or after 2 months, after 3 weeks. Usually, this is the time frame what we find frequently. Those the things like next day or the after 1 year is outlier. That is quite rare.
No, can I just comment on Urvashi's ji that the body may forget or the practitioner may forget. Actually, what we do is uh, when we do the session, we recall because it's already stored in your memory. The previous session is recalled from your memory by the innate wisdom, and you actually continue no matter how many years it's. Yeah.
Wow, that's really fascinating. And then as the person is healed, then do the body and the mind come together in telling you the truth? Like you were saying, the mind may not say the truth. This is for either of you, but the body tells the truth. Now, as the person is getting healed, does the mind also start believing the way the body does? Do they come more, together and synchronize?
Yes,
Actually,
absolutely.
the mind is corrupted, belief systems, etc. But the body cannot lie. The body always speaks the truth here. The mind is different. The mind has so many conditionings, beliefs, and it's not actually accurate.
But let's say, doctor, that
So,
if I have come for many sessions and I am feeling better, say I've got psoriasis or something, as you all had mentioned earlier, and I'm feeling better, I'm not, whatever, itching or whatever. So the mind will also say that yes, I'm better, and the body will also say yes, I'm better. So then the patient really believes that he or she is getting better. He feels it,
so
and
what
then
happens?
Mankulji.
So what happens is that Sureshji, can you mute yourself?
I cannot find that.
Oh, that's okay. So generally, what happens is that the intention is coherence. Even when we are tapping the intention of may the communication, synchronization, and balance be restored. Let's say the limbic system or the emotional brain carries an emotion of fear of survival, and the liver is carrying an anger towards the other person, so they are in conflict with each other. The mind, body, different parts of body, different chakras, they all may be in conflict with each other. The intention is that if two people are not talking, you first get them talking, and then a synchronization comes, and then they come up with a win-win solution, and then balance happens. So the idea is to restore that communication, synchronization, balance within the body, with the environment, and with the innate wisdom, because that innate wisdom has the capacity to process all these things at the same time and bring about that coherence between every aspect of us. And the fact is that newer issues keep coming up for all of us. We will never be at peace, entirely at peace. For us, something new, and the idea is that we will be challenged every day. And since you mentioned Sri Aurobindo, he very clearly writes that first we deal with our own issues. There's a certain degree of self mastery, then other people's issues start coming in. So the battle of spirituality never ends, and we are not here to seek harmony, but yes, coherence should grow over time in the whole system.
Very
thank you.
good, very good.
That's very well said.
Urvashi,
Yes, Dad, I think time is
something is
short,
wrong
so
for
you
me.
can. Sorry.
My voice is again. You've gone on mute.
Yeah, my time is over. I would like to thank you all. Dada, you can take over.
No, I think I have only one question. That's the difference between hope and expectation. You mentioned these two. What is the difference between hope and expectation?
So expectation is something which, if I do this, then I want this back in return. If I'm going to do a body talk session, then I want this to come my way. Whereas hope is that I'm open to any possibility. Anything can happen, but I sincerely hope and upwards to the divine that may something good come out of it, and may whatever ails me, answers come to it. So we talk about hope, aspiration, faith. These things they burn upwards. And expectation is मैं ये करूँ और मुझे ये मिल जाए. मैं अपनी psoriasis के साथ आया हूँ और मेरी psoriasis ठीक हो जाए.
Expectation has got a selfish milieu, and hope has got an impersonal milieu. Can we conclude at that?
Beautifully
Attaching with
said.
the outcome is basically expectation.
I think today is the first show that we have gone across all limits. We have crossed 1 hour 15 minutes over and above that. So I think it's time for us to say goodbye. And I would like to thank you, Dr. Pankaj Verma, Dr. Suresh Dagur, Sadhna Mehta, for coming on our show. And really, you all have enlightened and lightened up the entire show. I mean, it's like a very treasured memories for all of us. Thank you. Shat Shat Pranam Aap Sabhi ko. And now, in our traditional way, we will end the show with a small prayer. Urvashi, can you please end the show?
Yes, Dada, thank you. ॐ सर्वेषां स्वस्तिर्भवतु सर्वेषां शान्तिर्भवतु सर्वेषां पूर्णं भवतु सर्वेषां मङ्गलं भवतु सर्वे भवन्तु सुखिनः सर्वे सन्तु निरामयाः सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु मा कश्चित् दुःखभाग् भवेत् असतो मा सद्गमय तमसो मा ज्योतिर्गमय मृत्योर्मामृतं गमय ॐ पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः हरि ओम
Jai Shri
जय
Ram.
श्री राम.
जय श्री राम जय झूलेलाल
Once again, bye bye. Hari Om.
थैंक यू हरि ओम बाय बाय